Elizabeth is a middle-aged woman who works as a teacher at a junior high school. One might think that she is very caring and responsible given her job, but the exact opposite is true. Elizabeth is really a reckless and discourteous lady who curses at the students and makes them watch films in class. She is either high on alcohol or drugs the majority of the time. Elizabeth has only one goal in life: to marry a wealthy man and steal his wealth. She is a gold digger. Things are looking up for Elizabeth, who is currently dating the son of a very wealthy businessman. Because she no longer requires employment, she abruptly quits her school job one day in arrogance. She does, however, find that her boyfriend and his mother are waiting for her when she gets home. The guy says that he doesn't want to marry her anymore, which is a shocking turn of events. He has finally come to the realization that Elizabeth is only interested in his money. She has been stealing money from his wallet, office, and even his mother's room for months to buy herself expensive items. Elizabeth attempts to make sense of that this isn't true, however he doesn't tune in and furiously leaves. Elizabeth is put in a difficult situation as a result. Not only has she lost hope of becoming wealthy, but she also has no job. Now, Elizabeth spends a few months trying to find work, but no one hires her because she doesn't have much talent. She finally gives into her pride and goes back to the junior high school, where she used to work. She runs into her previous foe, Amy Squirrel, on her first day, and the two of them get into a heated argument. It is abundantly clear that they despise one another to the extreme. Elizabeth then returns to her classroom, where the students are thrilled to see her. She doesn't seem to care though. She starts eating her breakfast there, and does not even instruct them. She puts on stand and deliver and forces the students to watch it when they start asking for a new lesson. Gracious, saying that it will assist with working on their grades. After this, she covers her face with her coat and nods off in the class. During the midday break, Elizabeth accommodates with her main companion in the school, Lynn, who is likewise an individual educator. The two talk about their lives, and Elizabeth uncovers that she is intending to go through breast enhancement surgery so she can turn out to be more lovely and draw in rich folks, otherwise known as sociopaths. In the meantime, Russell, the school's gym teacher, is introduced to us. He has had a huge crush on Elizabeth ever since the get-go. But she never entertains him. This is because he does not possess the one and only quality that she looks for in rich men. Scott, a handsome man, joins the school as a substitute teacher one day. When Elizabeth finds out that Scott is wealthy, she starts circling him right away. At an advantageous second, she chances upon him and presents herself. She then cleverly forces him to reveal that he is single and is in a relationship. Scott discloses that he recently ended his relationship with his girlfriend and even includes a picture of her. At the point when Elizabeth sees it, she becomes envious. As the young lady has a huge chest, she makes it her aim to undergo breast enhancement surgery because she thinks Scott only likes those kinds of women. In the following scene, Elizabeth goes to a clinic to get ready to complete the surgery form. In any case, when she discovers that the technique will cost her an incredible $9,000, she quickly stops. Elizabeth will have to wait for the time being because she does not even have $50 in her account. She calls all of her acquaintances that night in the hope of obtaining a donation for the surgery. They simply hang up on her, however, because they are all aware of her true nature. After that, Elizabeth goes back to her former boyfriend and asks him to give her $9,000 as recompense for ending their marriage. However, to her dismay, even he declines and disconnects the call. One of Elizabeth's classmates approaches her in class the following morning as she continues to pass the time as usual and asks if she would like her car washed. She goes on to explain that the entire class will take part in the annual car wash, which will be very entertaining. Elizabeth doesn't even pay attention to what she has to say. However, when the student tells her that they made $6,000 last year, Elizabeth is shocked. "Okay, kids, wash my car." After that, Elizabeth asks which teacher is taking them to the event, and to her dismay, she finds out that it is Amy, her foe. Notwithstanding the difficulty, Elizabeth is reluctant to miss such a once-in-a-lifetime chance, so she heads to the Key's office and starts seducing him with her looks. When he becomes stirred, she demands that he make her accountable for the vehicle wash occasion rather than Amy to her to light. He concurs without reconsidering. Elizabeth wears the most revealing dress she can find the following morning to the event. She splashes a lot of water on her body as she begins to wash the car as well. All of the women around are shocked by this, but the men are pleased with what they see. Even a police officer is captivated by her beauty to the point where he crashes into another vehicle. Elizabeth then makes a demand for additional funds from the men, claiming that the students at her school urgently require additional funds. She is able to make approximately $10,000 by the end of the day, which shows that the strategy works. Elizabeth secretly keeps the other half for herself while giving half to the school. In the meantime, Amy finds out about this and irately goes to the principal. As expected, the latter is using the restroom to relieve himself, Amy is enraged by the sudden invasion of his privacy and demands that Elizabeth be punished. She claims that Elizabeth is stealing money from the school. But the principal says he can't do anything until there is solid evidence against her. The following day at school is the yearly parent-instructor meeting. In Elizabeth's class, many parents have gathered, as expected, because they are all upset about the way their children are taught. They confront Elizabeth and demand an explanation for why she always plays movies in the classroom and never teaches lessons. Also, she simply responds, "Do not teach me how to do my work." When the meeting comes to an end, a worried father approaches Elizabeth and secretly hands her $200, requesting that she pay more attention to his son. Our cunning protagonist receives yet another concept from this. She conducts one-on-one meetings with each parent, solicits payment, and promises to give each child individual attention. Elizabeth is now only short of $2,000 for her breast augmentation procedure. She continues to be irresponsible throughout the day and completely neglects her students. Elizabeth also turns down Russell's advances to the gym instructor. She does, however, become friends with him. On the other hand, Amy has also begun to pursue Scott, who is wealthy and attractive. Elizabeth is extremely envious of the two because they have grown close and are always together. She learns from her best friend Lynn one day that the school will hold a competition for teachers in which the teacher whose students score the highest on the upcoming state test will receive a $5,000 cash prize. Seems as though a few new tests to me. Elizabeth is overjoyed upon hearing this, and she makes the decision to finally begin instructing her students. So from the extremely following day, she comes right on time to class and makes everybody open their books, stunning them. Elizabeth likewise makes a point to give them schoolwork and day-to-day tasks. Even in class, she won't let them talk to each other. This happens for a couple of days, and the understudies incredibly get to the next level. However, passing the upcoming state exam, which is just a few days away, is still not enough. Elizabeth decides to take matters into her own hands because she is desperate to win the $5,000 cash prize. That evening, she dresses enchantingly and approaches a state teacher named Carl, who is responsible for planning and dispersing test questions. The strategy works, and the man takes her to his place as soon as he wakes up. Elizabeth adds sleeping pills to Carl's drink as he goes to his bedroom to get ready, which Carl later consumes and knocks him out. Elizabeth takes advantage of the opportunity to steal his questions and distribute them to her students. The test results come out the following week, and all of her students pass with excellent grades, making her the victor. Elizabeth receives the $5,000 cash prize, which provides her with sufficient funds to undergo the surgery. We'll perceive the way much good the new boobies do her when she's in prison, so without burning through any time, she heads to the center and books an arrangement. However, the following day, she discovers with disappointment that Scott has begun dating Amy. They seem very in love with one another. Although Elizabeth is enraged that her foe has once more destroyed her plans, she will not give up. The next week, the school is taking every one of the understudies on a visit, and the ones in control will be Scott and Amy. At the point when Elizabeth learns of this, she thinks of a shrewdness plan. She infuses an apple with some chemicals and leaves it directly in front of Amy, realizing that she is colossally attached to the natural product. Amy takes a bite out of the apple without even asking where it came from, as expected. Her face is covered in rashes and allergies by evening. Expecting that she could spread it to the understudies, the chief names Elizabeth to supplant her in the visit. Elizabeth makes the most of the opportunity and develops a close relationship with Scott in the following scene. They even have private sexual encounters that evening. Amy begins looking for clues to expel Elizabeth from the school in another location out of envy. She enters her classroom and attempts to scan her desk, but the majority of the drawers are locked. Subsequently, Amy switches her work area with Elizabeth's and afterward makes a janitor tear open the cabinet. To her pleasure, she finds the inquiry papers that Elizabeth had taken from Carl. Following this, Amy heads to the chief's room and enlightens him everything concerning how Elizabeth cheated to assist her understudies with getting passing marks. This time, the principal trusts her, but he also tells her that he can't fire Elizabeth unless Carl tells the truth. So that very day, Amy goes up against Carl in his office and extorts him into admitting everything. She warns him that she will make public all of his wrongdoings if he does not comply. The poor man reluctantly agrees. Elizabeth is having a great time with the students elsewhere on the tour. She even provides one of the bullied boys with her underwear, which helps him gain popularity. Wow, she will imprison. Russell is greatly impressed when he sees this. Elizabeth compliments his sincerity and good fortune in response to his praise for her generosity. However, Amy arrives at the scene and taunts Elizabeth that she will be arrested soon, which rudely interrupts their romantic conversation. When our protagonist hears this, she comes up with her own strategy after realizing that the stolen test papers have been found. When she heads home, she pays her flatmate and orders him to convey a bundle to Lord, The latter opens the package and discovers a number of naked photographs of him, which Elizabeth had apparently taken while he was unconscious. She's going to jail, dude. Now. She promises to keep his photos a secret in return for his false confession. Carl is put in a very difficult situation as a result of this because the two women are threatening him with their demands. However, after much thought, he chooses Elizabeth and lies that he has never even met her. After that, Elizabeth herself comes forward and asserts that narcotics had been used in class by someone at the school. Here, it is made clear that she already realized Amy had moved desks while she was away. The test papers are in the lower drawer, while the drugs are in the upper drawer. Amy is unaware of the contents of this drawer, which is still closed. In light of Elizabeth's cases, a few police storm the school and starts looking through every one of the work areas. At the point when it's Amy's move, the opiates are found and she is promptly arrested. The conflict between the two women comes to an end as a result of this. In the last scene, Scott approaches Elizabeth and asks her out on the town, communicating that he enjoys her. However, shockingly, she turns him down. According to Elizabeth, she already has a man who is smart, kind, and attractive. She then goes to Russell and kisses him enthusiastically, thus beginning their relationship. Elizabeth also decides not to have breast enlargement surgery because she no longer wants to attract wealthy men. The film closes as Elizabeth vows to be a serious educator and assist every one of her understudies with accomplishing magnificent scholarly grades from this point forward. If you want to see more videos like this one, please enable notifications and like the channel. I appreciate your attention.